Good day, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to every one of you who is viewing this video. This morning, I just wanted us to discuss and demonstrate some of the key concepts related to assessment. Like I said in my previous video, one of the key roles and importance of being an assessor is that you actually add a very significant value into the training industry. So this morning, we are going to list down some of the key things and the roles played by an assessor. What is it that it means for you to be an assessor? And why assessment is an important aspect or process within the learning and development practices. You can relate to being an assessor as the process that one needs to undertake, right? Or a training organization that needs to undertake for them to declare individuals competence against the standards that have been set. So anyway where learning is actually involved, there should be assessment. Assessment is part of our day-to-day learning environment. Assessment is part of our lives in homes, in any way we apply the principles of assessment for us to be effective in everything that we do. Assessment does carry a weight. So some of the things that I want to talk about today is that to let you know, in South Africa, a lot of people are taking up the course 115753 being an assessor, but they literally don't know the power that they carry after completing the program. You find that they do take up the program for the sake of completing and being certificated, but actually they forget that they do have to apply the skills that they have acquired in the day-to-day learning environment. One thing that you need to know as an assessor, anyway assessment is going to take place, a training provider needs to be an accredited training provider. So by virtue of a training provider being accredited, that means there should be an assessor. One of the quality controls in accreditation is that we should have practitioners that are accredited to support the program that is intended to be facilitated or rolled out within that learning organization. That means that every training provider or any institutions that is offering training needs to have assessors that are qualified, registered, and certificated. That is part number one. So when you complete the course, you are not only going to assess individuals, but you can add value in every training provider. So you can work as a freelancer, go out there and find those training providers that have not either adhere to the quality controls of the sectors of education and training or to the quality councils or the government to be accredited, and assist them to become accredited. By you assisting them through the process of accreditation, already you are putting or stepping into the employment industry. You are gaining the employment. Definitely, any training provider who got assistance from you will have to sign as SLA, what we call the service level agreement. An SLA is a document that allows you to collaborate, do business with that training provider. You might not be a full-time employee, but you might be working as of when you are required to do so. So you sign a service level agreement that guarantees you that indeed you have been given permission and work to do something for that organization, and in return there will be value in terms of remuneration or wages that are given onto you as part of your contribution. So that is one part that you can empower yourself. So when you become an assessor, not only that you are going to just sit back, you need to locate those training providers that are not accredited, they're struggling with accreditation, and support them to become accredited. By you supporting them, you are not only enhancing progress in quality controls of that organization, but also the quality that will be adhered to the learners or individuals that will enroll against that program, for them to be also quality assured by yourself. That is part one. So the part of accreditation, you need to support those training providers. Number two, the importance and your powers also as an assessor. You need to remember, being an accredited training provider doesn't guarantee that you, as a training provider, they are automatically going to issue certificates. It doesn't work that way. They cannot sell certificate, but learning must take place. In other words, there must be evaluations on the content that has been facilitated. Assessment must take place. And who is part of that process? An assessor. Once you support someone or a training provider to undergo through the process of accreditation, and they are registered and they are licensed, they are certificated, they have got the permission to offer trainings, the next step is for them to implement the learning program that they have applied for. The part of enrollment, from enrollment to acquisition of training materials, assessment instruments, and all that, is ministered by you, the assessor. A lot of training providers don't know that actually the assessor's role to make sure that assessment processes from the enrollment is all catered for by themselves. So they sit back and only be waited, or they wait for them to be looked at the end of the learning process. That's when you only add value. You don't add value at the learning process only, or at the certification process, but from the beginning. At the beginning of learning, before recruitment takes place, assessor is there to make sure the training material that has been developed does talk to the standard set, to make sure that the facilitator who's going to take over facilitation or learning or teaching is actually meeting the requirements, is a subject matter expert. Also, making sure the assessment instruments that are used during the learning process, those are the formative assessments, are all talking to the standard set, as well as the summative assessment that will be given out at the end of the learning process. They are all being monitored and been approved by you as an assessor. You've gone through them. If they are not available, it means you are able to design and develop those instruments. That's why it's very key and important part that every assessor needs to undertake what is called the design and development of learning program. It adds much more value that you have that certificate as well, that skill, that knowledge, that makes sure that you are competent enough to add value to the training providers. And then, before I close on this one, we have a series of training or discussion that we're going to be talking about in this aspect. This one is only to show how important you are in the training industry as an assessor. As soon as you complete the program, this is what you're going to become. You can add value, significant value to the training providers. Now, the last part is, we call it quality control. It means you will be able to make sure there is quality. We call it quality assurance. Quality assurance makes sure that you are able to evaluate all the standards that has been assessed on and pass on your own judgment. It means not only that you are advising the training provider to make sure that they are compliant, but also you are forming part of the learning process, that you are evaluating every content, every evidence that has been produced by the learners or the candidates to make sure they are consistent with the standard set by the quality assuring body. You see that means you can now conduct assessment. Remember, one of the criteria of an assessor that you have to understand the content, you have to evaluate the content. At the same time, you have to evaluate the evidence against that content. The evidence is produced by the students themselves, or the learners, or the trainees. They produce that evidence, and then you are able to conduct an evaluation on them to pass on your judgment if they are competent or not yet competent, or they have achieved the standard or they have not yet achieved the standard, or they have passed or they have failed in any way that you can term it. All those are part of you, things that you need to do as an assessor. Now, for you to become a competent assessor, these are the things that you need to put into considerations. Train yourself, get more information as Whenever you find content that is relevant to your industry, make sure you are familiar with such content. Number two, make sure you are able to go and apply for the licenses and certification. As soon as you complete the program, a lot of people do the training and then they don't register themselves. Go and register so that when you register, you become a licensed constituent assessor. You can add value. We can trace that you are indeed a registered and compliant with the standard bodies. The other part, you need to go into professional development. When you talk about professional development, assessor alone as a program doesn't stop only for you to become an assessor, but take up the chance and upgrade your program and register to become also an evaluator of standards. That is being a moderator. You can become a moderator in that sense, so that when you become a moderator, you are able to assist. If you didn't assess, then you'll be able to assist the moderation process to be efficient. If you know the principles of moderation, you'll be able to guide the entire learning program, process, facilitation, and the organization, that when they reach at the part of moderation to evaluate the standards and achievements of learners, the process will be efficient. It will be flowing successfully, rather than waiting at the end and then you don't know what to do. So empower yourself through professional development. Take up some programs that can enhance your abilities to conduct and advise training providers. Okay, so the other part is to just be available for growth and development. Grow with an organization. Do not touch one organization and leave them hanging. Grow with them by support. When you do so, you'll be able to add value to your, only to yourself, but also the industry at large. At that moment, then you can call you a constituent practitioner. Then you become a practitioner. When you become a practitioner, all things will work out for good for your own growth and development. See me again in the next video where we talk about the impact of assessment on training providers. Impact of assessment on training providers. Register if you have not registered for one of our programs. Assessor course is coming up in the next coming few days. Please take a chance to register. Dial 078-359-6200, Alternatively, send us an email, info@bbtinstitute.com, info@bbtinstitute.com. You can also send us a WhatsApp on the same mobile number. Send us a WhatsApp, then we can be able to enroll you into our upcoming program on assessment practices. Those who are facilitators, catch me again tonight or later on during the week. You'll see the power of a facilitator, and this cut across in all industry, not only just into learning and development, but if you are a leader, you are a manager, you are an advisor or a supervisor in an industry, in a company, please, this is for you. It means you will be able to gain massive information and knowledge and how to impact yourself onto growth and development to the industry. Thank you, and see you again in my next video. Do not fail me. Don't fail yourself as well. Share this video. Share it to other individuals and click on the notification bell so that you can receive more of this information. As of when they are made available, automatically you receive a notice that information is available, a video is available. See you again in my next video, and God bless you.